Hey everybody, this is at now_world_order from Twitter, and this is going to be a WWE Monday Night Raw review. I got enough good feedback from Twitter and here on YouTube that people want to see more videos, and Tuesdays seems to be a good day for them. So, first of all, I just wanted to thank anyone who's checked out my previous videos. My first one, the Seth Rollins Turns on the Shield video, and I also made a two-part video of my top 20 WWE prospects that have not won the WWE Heavyweight Championship up to this point in their career. And the only reason it's a two-part video is because my camera cut out after I was in the middle of explaining number 9. So I made a second video with 9 through 1. So if you want to just check out my top 9, there's a video for that. If you want to check out all 20, two-part video. That all being said, thank you to my 10 subscribers so far. I really appreciate it. And I'm going to keep the videos coming, at least in the immediate future. So let's just jump right into Monday Night Raw. Starts off with Stephanie McMahon and Triple H out in the ring, and they're talking basically about, Daniel Bryan is not able to compete at Money in the Bank, and they do strip Daniel Bryan of the WWE Championship. The fans are pissed, which is understandable, but I understand the WWE's standpoint on this. They need a champion who's going to be around. They need somebody out there who can go out there every week, who can do the house shows, who they can advertise to be at events. I understand it, and it's crazy for the WWE. Unfortunately, they're gonna see this mindset of this is a good thing because now they can build Daniel Bryan up again. We got the big payoff at WrestleMania with him finally winning the championship. We thought we were on the verge of this big breakthrough, and Daniel Bryan was gonna be the man and carry the ball for a while and let John Cena, take some time off from being the top guy. And we're pretty much right back to square one. But as fans, we can kind of look forward to the big championship climb of Daniel Bryan again. And they have a built-in storyline now. Whenever Daniel Bryan's ready to come back and he returns, it's just a matter of time before he faces off for the championship that he never lost. So we'll see what happens here in the future. Next up, we had the first match of the night. It was Sheamus beating Bad News Barrett to qualify for the Money in the Bank World Heavyweight Championship match at the Money in the Bank pay-per-view. Typical Sheamus match. It was pretty good though, for a match on Raw. But Bad News Barrett beat the heck out of him. He really looked devastating at the end of the match. And out of nowhere, road kick, 1, 2, 3, and that's it. And when I say typical Sheamus match, that's kind of what I mean. It's what's wild though is it's another week of Sheamus getting more boos than cheers, and another week for Bad News Barrett of getting more cheers than boos. So you have Sheamus out there as the babyface getting booed. You have Bad News Barrett out there as the heel getting cheered. WWE, you guys know what to do. Both guys. Pretty obvious what needs to be done there for both of them. And so now Sheamus is in the Money in the Bank ladder match. I would have personally rather seen Bad News Barrett in that match. But, there's been talk that there could be a second Money in the Bank match at the pay-per-view for more up-and-comers for the actual briefcase that someone can carry for a year, which I think is a great idea, because I think with them putting the championship in the Money in the Bank ladder match, it takes away one element of what fans are used to for the year, and that's someone for at least a few months or hours or days, you never know, carrying that briefcase around, that element of surprise that at any point someone might come in and be the new champion on any night. And I could see Bad News Barrett being a part of that other match if it is to happen. That being said, Sheamus wins, and now we know that it is Sheamus, Alberto Del Rio, and Randy Orton. Randy Orton was placed in the match by Triple H at the beginning of the show, and Del Rio had beat Dolph Ziggler to get into the match. Once again, I would have much rather seen Dolph Ziggler in the match than Sheamus or Del Rio, or Orton for that matter. But maybe he'll be in that other ladder match. You could only hope. I'm sure I'm not alone when I, as a fan, just feel for Dolph Ziggler. It's hard to watch because the guy's so good, he's talented, and everyone's behind him. To like a very small scale version of the big Daniel Bryan phenomenon we got this last year in Dolph Ziggler, and the fans are into him. We saw him have that WrestleMania type moment the night after WrestleMania a couple years ago. He wasn't even on the show, from my memory. So, I would have liked to see him in that match, but nonetheless, we get Sheamus. Up next, we had Bray Wyatt talking with the Wyatt family on the Titantron, saying things like he's reborn and yada yada. But another great promo by Bray Wyatt. The guy never fails on the microphone. Harper and Rowan do exactly what they need to play their characters. And, more good stuff from Bray Wyatt. I can't really say anything bad about the guy. If you watch my top 20 WWE prospects list, you'll see how highly I think of Bray Wyatt and the Wyatt family. Excuse me. Next up, we have Lana coming out and talking about how our President Obama, looks real goofy, and they shows clips of him working out, and it's funny. And then they show their leader, Putin, who is doing like judo type stuff, and pretty much showing, oh, our guy's badass, your guy is a dweeb. It's pretty much how she put it. I'll just go out there and say it. For my money, Lana is the hottest diva they have, or female at all in that matter, for the whole company. I think she's the hottest WWE female they've got, and I think she's going to have a longer, more successful career than Rusev. And that leads me right into the next match, which is Rusev coming out and killing Zack Ryder. Your basic Rusev match, just another week of Rusev coming out and destroying somebody. The guy looks impressive, but we've seen this before. We've seen it 1,000 times with the WWE, with guys like Vladimir Kozlov and Umaga and Snitsky, and you can sit here and name them all day. Eventually, Rusev is going to have to, he'll beat a few, or a bunch maybe, of jobbers and mid-carders and a couple decent main event type guys, but then he'll face John Cena, and everything that he did the months previous will be nullified. And he'll be right back down there on the island of misfit characters with the guys I already mentioned, and Santino and Hornswoggle and the Great Khali and Eugene and yada yada yada. We know where it's going. I hope it doesn't, though. I hope Rusev does well. I think he's a talented guy, but like I said, of that pairing, I see Lana having a much more successful career, mainly when she's not associated with Rusev. Next up, we have 3MB out in the ring. They talk for a second. The Shield hits the ring, or Ambrose and Reigns rather, and they come out and beat the hell out of 3MB. Both come out and cut great promos. Dean Ambrose did great. I think very highly of Ambrose. He got a very big pop from the crowd on the microphone, and Roman Reigns cut a good promo as well. Got a good pop too. I see big futures for both of those guys, and I'm still very interested to see what happens with all of them. And they also said earlier in the night we are going to get Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns and a mystery partner versus the Wyatts in the main event of Raw. We don't know who the third guy is yet. Next we had the Usos beating Fandango and Damian Sandow. Before the match, Summer Rae came out, or they were in the back, Summer Rae and Layla, and Summer Rae poured like milk and like turned a table upside down on Layla. And yeah, I'm really not that into this whole storyline. I'm not that into Fandango. I didn't even put him on my top 20 list in my previous videos, and that was a conscious decision. I don't think he's going to be around too long, to be honest. I think if he is, he's going to need a serious repackaging because, aside from the, his thing, I don't think he'll ever get any bigger than that. Just my opinion. Sandow was funny, like every other week. Guy's entertaining. He's good on the mic. Solid in the ring. Just hoping, just like, Dolph Ziggler, he gets out of whatever creative hole he's in with the guys writing the show, and I'd like to see a lot more out of Damian Sandow. The Usos, it was a typical match for the Usos. They're good. They're solid in the ring. Very good tag team, and they won with a couple super kicks and a big splash from the top for the 3 count. Up next, we've got Bo Dallas beating Xavier Woods. I'm a big fan of Bo Dallas so far. I think he's gold on the mic for what his character is. He wins with the Bo Dog. Yes, Bo Dog. Not Bulldog, the Bo Dog. And he's gold after the match, too. He does his whole thing where he celebrates running around the ring, does his whole deal, and then pretty much tells, Xavier Woods, like, shakes his hand, hey, it's okay, one day you'll get there, and you're just like, man, this guy just shows up, starts beating people. And the funniest thing is, he's like, when he's in his matches and stuff, he's actually really, it's like he's a good sport, but he's such a D-bag that you gotta hate him. I think it's a great character. I think he's got a very bright future as well. I'm so far since his re-debut, 2 thumbs up to Bo Dallas. Next, we've got Paul Heyman coming out. He's on the mic in the ring after we come back from a break. He's talking about Brock Lesnar. Everyone knows Lesnar's past. He's from Minnesota. That's where Raw's at. He was a big-time amateur wrestler at the University of Minnesota, and Heyman's rallying up the crowd like we're about to see Brock Lesnar, and out comes Cesaro, which he gets a big pop from the crowd too. Cesaro is awesome, and Cesaro beats RVD to qualify for the Money in the Bank Heavyweight Championship match at WrestleMania, which is awesome. That's good news. Of all the people that have been confirmed for the match so far, Cesaro would be my personal choice to win. If I'm going based off of who I want to see win the most, I would say Cesaro. I see big future for him too. And this match was on par with the rest of the Antonio Cesaro versus RVD matches we've been getting. Cesaro wins it with the neutralizer in the middle of the ring, 1, 2, 3. After working on RVD's leg, he did this spot where he jumped over the top rope, holding RVD's leg. Looked pretty painful. RVD hit the mat and neutralizer, 1, 2, 3. So we got Cesaro in the match, and that's good. That's good news, and that's good booking, in my opinion. Up next, we've got Seth Rollins cutting a great promo in the ring. Sounded awesome. If you want more of my thoughts on the Seth Rollins heel turn, I have the video on my YouTube page. Once again, another shameless plug for that video. I see big things in Rollins' future, and I like this heel turn so far. And he basically, the gist of it is, every time we put our fists together and we put them together and say believe in the Shield, I was really saying believe in Seth Rollins. They were never brothers. They were never they were just business partners. They were business associates, and Seth Rollins made a business decision, and he has aligned himself with the head of the company. All great stuff. Great stuff. That brings out the Wyatt family. Sorry, it brings out Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns, which brings out the Wyatt family, which eventually brings out John Cena. He makes the save, so now we all know it's going to be a 6-man tag match with Ambrose and Reigns and Cena taking on the Wyatt family for the main event of Raw. And my thing with this is, I understand they got to get Cena on the show. This is an easy way to get him in the main event for, limited wrestling. He's dealing with some injuries, and I'm okay with this. I just wish it would have been maybe another member, new permanent member, maybe someone for the Shield comes out. Maybe we get Sami Zayn coming out with the vest on, with the Shield to a monster pop. But we're not going to get that, at least this week. We are getting John Cena, and we'll see that in the main event of the show. Next up, we had Paige beating Alicia Fox. Paige wins with that sweet submission hold. Aside from that, it's a forgettable match. After the match, though, Alicia Fox does that wild temper tantrum thing, and she starts kind of like bullying around Oksana and like telling her she loves her, then shoving popcorn in her face and in her mouth, and then saying I love you, then shoving more in her face, and it was weird. But this is the most interesting that Alicia Fox's character has been in her career, so good for her. Next up, we had Jack Swagger taking on Santino. He wins clean with the gut wrench powerbomb. Swagger needed a win pretty badly. It's against Santino, so not that big of a deal, but at least it puts him in the W column, and we'll see what happens with Jack Swagger next. I hope he does something soon, but he's just kind of in limbo right now between like the lower and mid card, and as long as he's with Zeb Coulter doing the We the People thing, I think he's got a spot on the show, at least fairly often. But I'm not sure exactly where they're going to go with him right now. Next, we've got Cody backstage with Goldust, and so Cody Rhodes and Goldust are backstage, and they're talking about how Goldust's partners haven't fared too well yet, and we're gonna get a partner next week that we've never seen before, who is coming to magnify the magnificence that is Goldust next week, and I'm not sure where that's going, and I actually think I forgot to talk about the Ryback versus Goldust in R-Truth match. I'll do that real quick, then I'll talk about this. Ryback will beat Goldust in R-Truth in a pretty basic match. Goldust looked really frustrated in the ring after the match, and Cody looked frustrated backstage, which is leading us to this discussion. And Cody says that this partner that we've never seen before isn't going to be Cody. It isn't going to be R-Truth. It isn't going to be Sin Cara. So this could go a lot of different ways. And anyone who has seen my videos so far knows that I'm a big fan of Cody Rhodes. And I feel like this could either be the heel turn we've expected. Maybe Cody debuts a new character that maybe he is similar to Goldust. I think that'd be cool. I think that's very interesting. Maybe Cody comes out in some weird fit and some weird paint, and now we got a new character that transformed like Goldust did back in the day. Who knows? They can go a lot of different ways with this. Maybe it's someone from NXT. Maybe it's someone we just haven't seen in a really long time. Maybe it's someone who's been repackaged and being brought back. I don't know, but it's going to be next week, and I'm looking forward to see it. And up next, we got the main event of the show. It is John Cena, Roman Reigns, and Dean Ambrose beating the Wyatt family after Reigns hits... who did he hit with the spear? Luke Harper. He hit Luke Harper with the spear for the 3 count, and it was a good match. Not as good as the Shield versus the Wyatts, or the Shield versus a lot of teams, but it got John Cena in there. He's the face of the company, whether we want to admit it or not, and a lot of the people in the crowd are there to see him. I understand this decision, and to end the show, we get Rollins and Triple H watching backstage while the winners celebrate in the ring. And we know that there's a lot more of this Ambrose and Reigns versus Rollins, Triple H, Randy Orton. So there's a lot more to come. And that's the main question I've been getting on Twitter, is where do I think that this is going for the 3 guys involved with that. I'll make a whole other video later on, once we know more about this storyline, maybe in a couple weeks or months, giving my kind of analysis on what I think was good or bad about this particular storyline. But the way that I think it's going to go is this. I think we're going to see, at some point we're going to have a 3-way match, but it might not be right away between the Shield members. I think that the way the company is going is we will see Ambrose and Rollins put on some awesome matches against each other. And I think we'll see Roman Reigns and Randy Orton put some good matches on against each other. And then I think we're going to see the combination switch so-so. But I think the big payoff is at some point we're going to see Roman Reigns versus Triple H. And they've hinted that on Raw. They've hinted that in the past too. That's where I think their big money match is Roman Reigns versus Triple H. Roman Reigns winning and setting him up for superstardom. I really hope we see a Roman Reigns Rock match in the future, because everyone knows they're kin, and we'd like to see that. And I also hope this gives Dean Ambrose a shot at Triple H in the future, and Seth Rollins a shot at Triple H in the future. I hope all 3 of them eventually get the rub from one of those guys, or from Triple H specifically, and also at some point John Cena and a whole bunch of other guys. They're the future of the company, along with some of the guys that I mentioned in my top 20 video. A couple more quick things. There's big rumors that Kevin Steen has signed with the WWE. I hope that this is true. I will redo my top 20 list, and it'll be a while, but Kevin Steen's the guy that'll be on there. And with the possibility of Kenta coming soon and Prince Devitt, they got a lot of young talent that's ready to hit NXT and then hit the main roster whenever they're needed. I hope we see Chris Hero come back, Cassius Ohno at some point soon too. They're loading up. They're loading up on solid indie talent. Maybe CM Punk comes back in the future. They're gonna have a very, 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 very solid roster in comparison to what they've had the last 10 years, and I'm really looking forward to it. Please, continue to ask me questions on Twitter. You can mention me. My account is private, so you have to request for me to follow you. But if you are a wrestling fan, I will follow you, and you can still mention me, and I'll still see it. And follow me on Twitter. It's at NOW_WORLD_ORDER, just like this YouTube channel. Speaking of the YouTube channel, please subscribe. And this has been a long video. I appreciate anyone who has watched this whole thing. And please give me feedback. Continue to watch. Tell your friends. Tell your kids. Tell your wife. Subscribe. And see you later.